Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm watching the most evil serial killers in the world. And this topic, this episode they're talking about is Jeffrey Dahmer. That's the episode. The episode is Jeffrey Dahmer. They just did one on Richard the Night Stalker, Richard Martinez or something. Richard Martinez, I don't know. But this is Jeffrey Dahmer right there.
And the people of Milwaukee.
Jeffrey Dahmer had a job in a local chocolate factory, and I think for him it enabled him to maintain a facade of normality. He was just an average Joe, a regular guy who went to work every day.
I think he killed so many people without being caught because of the fact that he looked like
Has anybody seen the Jeffrey Dahmer story, Monster? It's the shit.
Blend in with society. Now, he was a Caucasian male living in a predominantly African-American neighborhood, but he didn't talk to anybody, didn't bother anybody. He was
Who likes Jeffrey Dahmer?
People noticed. Barely noticed.
Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer. Who is the worstest serial killers out there? Who is the worst serial killers?
Most people, if they were to commit the type of acts that Jeffrey Dahmer did, they would in no way be able to function normally. But Jeffrey Dahmer was like most people. He hasn't got the same level of repulsion and shock at
drinking tea right
or mutilated bodies that most of us have. It was just another aspect of his life.
It was not known that we had a serial slayer loose in our city. We did not know because he was so cleverly disposing of the bodies. The families were reporting the sons were missing, but the police were not finding bodies. And not infrequently, young men, something happens in their life. They just up and leave town. That happens enough that the police don't.
Let's go, Jeffrey Dahmer, on the so-called conscious community. Let's go.
Dahmer came agonizingly close to capture
Cannibalistic on the so-called conscious community.
Dahmer had taken Conrad Simpson, a young Asian male who he found attractive. He met him in the mall, offered him money to go back to his apartment.
I don't want to say no names because I ain't looking for that. I'm not looking for that stuff.
Dahmer would drug him, and then he began the process of.
But I don't like most of yours. I don't like some of yours.
And he had drilled a hole in his head. He took a break. He ran out to get more beer. While he was gone, Conrad ran out of the apartment. He was naked. He was completely dazed, and he's running up the alley next to Dahmer's apartment building. A woman in another apartment building saw him running up the alley and said, "There's a boy."
Finish up this tea
and
end over this video.
And then these women called the police.
And then Dahmer appeared, and again, this is another remarkable characteristic of these psychopaths, is that they have an ability to maintain, a kind of coolness under the most extraordinarily high pressure circumstances.
So he walked up to the officers. "Good evening, officers." He's very polite, he's sober, and he said, "This is my boyfriend. Came to stay with me. He had a little bit too much to drink, and he ran out of the house." He said, "How old is he?" Dahmer said, "He's 19. And the officers said, "Okay, well, just to make sure, let's all walk back up to the apartment together."
The cops went in and looked around. They even peeked into the bedroom where there was a decomposing corpse of one of Dahmer's previous
Too much honey.
But, they took such a cursory look at it that they didn't even notice it.
Assuming the couple were having a lover's tiff, the two police officers left Conrad alone with Dahmer in the apartment building. And in the early hours of the morning, he murdered the 14-year-old boy. An opportunity to catch the killer had been missed.
I think that really speaks volumes about the attitudes of the police at the time in terms of ethnic minorities, in terms of young people, in terms of the gay community, and that was another victim that could potentially have been saved.
Glad to hear, mate. I'm sorry that everything was so old-fashioned. That's how it is.
I know, go on.
I don't think I'll ever go home.
The slow burn. Rated R.
So there's this terrible thing going on behind closed doors, and people just aren't seeing it. People aren't wanting to see it. Even the police are not joining up the dots and finding out what's really going on. So this is allowed to just bubble away and get worse.
After evading capture, Dahmer was free to continue.
There was two sides, really, to Dahmer's pleasure that he
Hassan
got.
Campbell?
So he was a sadist. He enjoyed
Get well soon.
other people.
Get well
He was a
soon.
sadist, that thrill ends when the victim